A warm welcome to all our viewers. I'm your host Pratiksha Mishra and you're watching another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. In a significant move aimed at boosting domestic demand and providing relief to both consumers and businesses, India has announced sweeping tax reforms under the Goods and Services Tax regime. The revised GST structure simplifies taxation across a wide range of goods and services, aiming to reduce input cost, enhance consumption, and address prevailing economic headwinds. Our reports take a closer look at the key changes and their potential implications across sectors. Take a look.
India is taking bold steps to strengthen its economy and support consumers and businesses in a challenging global environment. The government has introduced sweeping reforms to the Goods and Services Tax or GST, slashing rates on hundreds of essential goods and simplifying the tax structure. These changes aim to drive domestic demand, encourage investment, and make doing business easier across the country.
This reform is not just on rationalizing rates. It's also on structural reforms. It's also on ease of living so that businesses can do their business of working together with the GST with a great ease. So we have corrected inverted duty structure problems. We've resolved classification related issues. And we've ensured that there will be stability and predictability about the GST. Rate rationalization, of course. We've reduced the slabs. There shall be only 2 slabs, and we are addressing also the issues of compensation cess.
The recent reduction in GST rates on key construction materials is expected to significantly lower overall building costs, making homes more affordable for buyers. This move is likely to stimulate fresh investment in the housing sector, encourage the launch of new residential projects, and provide a much-needed boost to real estate demand, particularly in the affordable and mid-income house segments. Lower input costs will not reduce the financial burden on developers, but also improve project viability and profitability, enabling them to pass on cost benefits to end users. The health sector has also welcomed the reforms, highlighting how reduced GST rates and structural changes will lower costs for both healthcare providers and patients, improving accessibility.
The cost of insurance to people who are seeking insurance is now much less, and even if the insurance companies do decide to add some cost, that is with the insurance companies, but it has made it much more affordable and enabled access into healthcare. The second thing the GST has done in healthcare is to reduce the cost for all cancer medication, bring down to 5% all other medications. It has also looked at reducing the cost on consumables, and most importantly for the growth of the healthcare sector, they've reduced the cost of construction in cement, bricks, granite, marble. So you will hopefully see new hospitals coming up at a lower cost.
The defense sector, a key pillar of India's strategic ambitions, is set for a transformative boost through the GST reforms. By promoting indigenous manufacturing and offering tax relief to startups and MSMEs within the defense corridors, the government is accelerating modernization and innovation. Research and development projects, including those linked to advanced training simulators and IDEX initiatives, will now benefit from full GST refunds or zero GST, reducing costs and encouraging technological breakthroughs.
As you are aware that this will give us a major flip as far as the defense corridors are concerned. The second issue is MSMEs and startups which are there, they will also get a major advantage. If you see, Army looks at 3 things. That is the defense modernization, training and research and development. So research and development, the IDEX projects, others which are there, the complete entire GST will be refunded to them. As for the simulators others are concerned, they will be having the zero GST.
As India navigates complex global trade challenges, these tax reforms offer a path towards greater stability and long-term prosperity for millions of Indians. The government's focus on ease of doing business and cost reduction is expected to foster a more vibrant economic landscape in the months and years ahead.
Nepal is facing its most serious political crisis in decades after Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli was forced to resign amid violent protest that left several people dead. With the political establishment in disarray, the youth-led movement Gen Z has reportedly proposed former Chief Justice Sushila Karki to lead an interim government, hoping her reputation for integrity can help restore stability and guide the nation toward a new political path. A report.
Nepal experienced one of the most intense uprisings in its recent history, sparked by public outrage over a sudden government ban on social media platforms. What initially started as frustration quickly escalated into widespread unrest, primarily driven by the nation's youth. On September 4th, the government blocked access to 26 platforms, provoking a strong and immediate backlash. Although the ban was eventually lifted, it came after thousands of young protesters had already taken to the streets, setting fire to government buildings, clashing with security forces, and attacking the homes of political leaders. Several people lost their lives during the turmoil as the resignation of Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli failed to calm the situation. For many young Nepalis, this movement marks a tipping point, a rejection of a political culture long dominated by patronage and power games.
अब हामीले हाम्रो देश बनाउँछ भने हाम्रोलाई भन्दा पनि राम्रोलाई रोज्नु पर्यो राम्रो र सोच राम्रो होस् भिजन राम्रो होस् उले आफ्नो बारेमा नसोच्नुलाई हामीले अब भविष्य सुन्किनु पर्यो देशको.
As violence intensified and public buildings burned, the army was deployed overnight. A stay-at-home order was quickly imposed in a bid to restore order. But for many, it was too little, too late. The streets had already descended into lawlessness. Key infrastructure was targeted, and in several districts, mobs stormed detention centers. Authorities later confirmed that more than 10,000 prisoners were released, some freed by force, others abandoned as overwhelmed security forces retreated. The collapse of the government created a deep sense of uncertainty. But for a growing number of young people, the crisis also became a movement of awakening, a call to reimagine Nepal's future, not flee from it.
अस्तिसम्म चाहिँ के सोच्थेँ भने म बाहिर गएर के गर्छु यहाँ केही फ्युचरै छैन म अब +2 भर्खर क्लियर गरेको म बाहिर गएर के गर्छु भन्ने सोच्थेँ मेरो तर अब मेरो सोच पुरै बदलियो अब मेरो सोच यहाँ नेपाल बनाउने हो म नेपालमा के गर्छु र के गरेर यहाँ नेपाल बनाउँछु नेपालमै बस्छु मेरो भविष्य त्यही छ.
With the government toppled and political leaders scrambling, the question now is who will lead Nepal out of this crisis? In a sign of how the movement has been shaped by digital activism, the protesters held an online vote through the platform Discord. The majority chose former Chief Justice Sushila Karki, a figure respected for her integrity and impartiality, to head an interim government. However, focus has turned to Kathmandu's young mayor Balendra Shah, with online campaigns rallying support for him as the potential future leader of the Himalayan nation.
म त सुशीला कार्की नै भन्छु अहिले चाहिँ किनभने बालिनको अलिकति बेला भएको छैन उसको फेरि यता पनि जान्छ उता पनि जान्छ त्यो भने अलिकति सक्षम भनेको चाहिँ मेरो विचारमा चाहिँ सुशीला कार्की नै पहिला पनि प्रधान न्यायाधीश भइसकेको मान्छे राम्रै मान्छे हो त्यो भने अर्को चाहिँ अप्सन देखेन मैले.
Yet, despite this development, uncertainty still clouds Nepal's political future. Since 2008, the country has seen 14 governments, none completing a full 5-year term, highlighting deep-rooted instability. What is clear, however, is that this movement, born out of digital resistance and driven by the nation's youth, has already reshaped the political landscape. Whether this shift will bring about meaningful reform or slide Nepal further into chaos depends on how the new leaders, civil society, and protest groups navigate the coming weeks and months. The government may have fallen, but the road ahead remains uncertain.
Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
The 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development was held in Yokohama, marking the 4th time the city has hosted the event. Participants included not only representatives from African nations and Japan, but also delegates from other Asian countries, partner nations, and international organizations. The African Clean Cities platform, representing 47 countries and 200 cities, also participated. The mayor of Yokohama, Takeharu Yamanaka, announced contributions to the African Clean City initiative, drawing on Yokohama's historical experience. At the business conference, Japanese companies and African nations showcased their strengths in technology, products, and other areas. Through years of effort, Yokohama has built a clean and comfortable city, serving as an ideal model for the future of African societies. Iran and the UN nuclear watchdog have agreed to resume cooperation, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said on September 9, warning that any move to reimpose UN sanctions would halt the practical steps set out in the deal. The International Atomic Energy Agency has not had access to Iran's key nuclear facilities since the United States and Israel bombed them in June. Iran passed a law after the attack suspending cooperation with the IAEA and saying any inspections had to be approved by its Supreme National Security Council. The 13th World Sushi Cup Japan was held in Tokyo with the goal of selecting the top foreign sushi chef in the world. Following global preliminary competitions and nominations, 30 foreign sushi chefs from 21 countries and regions took part in the event. For the final creative sushi competition, 15 outstanding chefs were invited to showcase their skills. From there, 15 outstanding chefs were selected to compete in the final round of the creative sushi competition. In this creative sushi competition, the key focus is on demonstrating proper sushi making skills along with originality and creativity. Throughout the long history of the Sushi Cup, numerous lectures have been conducted by Japanese experts worldwide to promote correct techniques in handling raw fish and preparing sushi rice. The top title was awarded to Eri Zapaneka from Lithuania. Not only the winner, but also the participating foreign chefs will serve as sushi ambassadors in their respective countries. Their activities will help promote the spread of traditional sushi culture and increase the demand for raw fish and sushi ingredients.
During a state visit to India, Mauritius PM Navin Chandra Ramgoolam and PM Narendra Modi reaffirmed strong bilateral ties, highlighting that India and Mauritius are not just partners, but a family. The leaders met in Varanasi, signed multiple agreements and reviewed strategic cooperation under the Enhanced Strategic Partnership Framework. Mauritius remains key to India's neighbourhood first and Mahasagar vision. Historical ties, shared culture, and growing maritime, trade, and regional security cooperation continue to deepen the long-standing India-Mauritius relationship. Take a look. India and Mauritius continue to reinforce their historic relationship with a fresh wave of cooperation across sectors. From infrastructure development and maritime security to technological innovation and community-based initiatives, the two countries are reaffirming their long-standing bond. Recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held wide-ranging bilateral talks with his Mauritian counterpart, Prime Minister Navin Chandra Ramgoolam, in Varanasi. The meeting marked a significant moment in the ongoing efforts to elevate the multifaceted partnership between the two nations. During a joint press briefing, the two leaders emphasized the strength and evolution of Indo-Mauritian relations, describing them as a reflection of deep civilizational connections, spiritual harmony, and enduring people-to-people ties. Underscoring the importance of regional security and shared maritime interest, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterated India's commitment to supporting Mauritius in strengthening its oceanic presence.
फ्री, ओपन, सिक्योर, स्थिर और समृद्ध हिंद महासागर हमारी साझा प्राथमिकता है। इस संदर्भ में मॉरिशस के एक्सक्लूसिव इकोनॉमिक जोन की सुरक्षा और मैरीटाइम कैपेसिटी को मजबूत करने के लिए भारत पूरी तरह प्रतिबद्ध है।
Beyond bilateral issues, Prime Minister Modi and I held deep exchanges on pressing global challenges. As I said, also maritime security, but also climate change, and we will continue to work together. These discussions have culminated in the signing, you've just said, of several memoranda of understanding in the fields of community development, power, energy, science and technology, research, education, marine science and space research, which will guide and strengthen our cooperation in the years ahead. The issues that we discuss, including the double taxation avoidance treaty, which we think can be improved, but we'll see how things go.
The discussions covered the full spectrum of bilateral cooperation. 4 memorandums of understanding were exchanged in the areas of science and technology, oceanography, administrative training, and telemetry. In addition, 3 more documents were signed focusing on the power sector, India grant assistance for small development projects, and hydrography. Both countries also agreed in principle to jointly implement several strategic and development projects, further strengthening what is widely regarded as a special and time-tested partnership.
Mauritius is an integral part of India's neighborhood first policy and our vision Mahasagar, which is mutual and holistic advancement for security and growth across regions. It is also a very important part, Mauritius, of our commitment to the global South. This is a unique relationship. It is rooted in cultural, civilizational, linguistic and ethnic bonds. It's underpinned by very, very close people-to-people relations, growing trade, economic, financial and investment ties, and a very, very substantive developmental partnership between the two countries.
As India and Mauritius chart the next chapter of their enduring partnership, the recent engagements reflect not only mutual trust but also a shared vision for regional peace, prosperity and sustainable development. Rooted in deep historical ties and strengthened by growing strategic cooperation, the relationship continues to evolve, setting a benchmark for South-South collaboration. Tucked away in Kolkata's northern lanes, Kumartulli is a neighborhood where art comes alive. For generations, its potters have shaped more than clay. They have shaped culture. Here, artisans breathe life into idols that travel from Bengal to the world. In the rhythm of their hands and the scent of wet clay lies the soul of tradition. Step into these alleys and you'll find the birthplace of chords and the heart of Bengal's artistry. With every touch of clay, divinity awakens. Eyes open, forms rise, and gods are born through the artisan's timeless hands. Welcome to Kumartulli, a historic quarter in the heart of Kolkata where centuries-old artistry still thrives. For generations, this vibrant potter's hub has been the sacred birthplace of idols, especially of goddess Durga, worshipped not only across India but around the world.
वेस्ट बंगाल में दुर्गा पूजा ही होता है जो सबसे बड़ा पूजा जो कहते हैं। हाल ही में हेरिटेज भी घोषित हुआ है। यहाँ जो आइडल होता है ये फेमस है सबसे ज़्यादा स्टूडियो में। कुमारटुली में जो दुर्गा मूर्ति है या कोई भी मूर्ति बहुत फेमस है। तो मेरे स्टूडियो में जो पूजा होती है दुर्गा, एक तो वेस्ट बंगाल का भी होता है तो होता ही है, और बाहर में भी जाते हैं। जैसे कि इस साल अभी एक मूर्ति जा रही है पोलैंड में। तो बहुत सारे ऐसे कंट्रीज़ है आउट ऑफ इंडिया जहाँ मूर्ति जाती है।
The journey begins with bamboo and straw shaped into a frame that breathes life into form. Layer by layer, sacred clay from the Ganga is pressed gently by hand, slowly giving shape to divinity. What follows is a delicate dance of painting, ornamentation and draping until the goddess herself emerges in all her splendor. From Durga and Kali to Saraswati and Ganesh, every idol carries centuries of artistic tradition yet remains deeply rooted in timeless spiritual symbolism.
इस मार्केट का तो प्रभाव बहुत अच्छा है। हम छोटे से आते हैं, पापा जब से ले आता है तब से आते हैं। अभी हम अकेला भी आते हैं, जब जो लगता है मूर्ति का खरीदारी करने आते हैं। ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड में यहाँ मिट्टी का मूर्ति जाता है। जितना सनातनी आदमी है, कुमारटुली का मूर्ति हर कोई नाम जानता होगा।
What makes Kumartuli truly special is its global embrace. The artistry here does not just travel overseas through exported idols, it also draws seekers of tradition from across the world. Take Ekta for instance, a ceramic and pottery student and artist based in the UK. She has journeyed to Kolkata to immerse herself in the timeless craft of idol making.
So when I spend my time here, I make molds, which I can take it back to UK, and there I can use the clay that's found there, and then I can make installation works. Which are then exhibited in different galleries.
Walking through Kumartuli feels like stepping into a living museum where every lane is lined with idols in the making, every corner echoes with the rhythm of brushes, and heritage quietly breathes through clay. It is one of the rare places where tradition is not just preserved but lived and practiced every single day.
আর আমার প্রতিমার বৈশিষ্ট্য হলো অ্যাকচুয়ালি প্রতিমা সাবেকি প্রতিমা, মানে আগেকার যে ধরনের প্রতিমা হয় অ্যাকচুয়ালি সেই প্রতিমাই আমি তৈরি করি, কোনো আর্টের কাজ করি না। কিন্তু এই প্রতিমা এখন নানান দেশে যাচ্ছে বা এখানে বাড়াড়িতে আবাসনে প্রতিটা জায়গাতেই পুজো হচ্ছে। আমার আমেরিকায় গিয়েছিল একটা ছোট প্রতিমা, বড় না ছোট, আর এখন শ্রীনগর কাশ্মীর শ্রীনগরে গেছে, আর ভূপালে প্রতি বছর আমার প্রতিমা একটা করে যায়।
For centuries, the tradition of idol worship during Durga Puja has transformed clay into divinity. In the hands of Kumartuli's artisans, the goddess emerges as a symbol of devotion, community, and continuity. These idols travel from local pandals to the world, sustaining not just faith but the livelihoods of countless craftsmen, a legacy reborn each year. From narrow lanes to global stages, Kumartuli's art knows no borders. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Till then, goodbye and take care.